L. Ability to assess reasonableness of conclusions and to test conclusion against various scenarios. The ability to assess the reasonableness of conclusions and test conclusions against various scenarios specifically emphasizes evaluating whether analytical conclusions are realistic, supportable, and consistent across changing assumptions and business conditions. FP&A resources explain that effective financial analysis requires more than producing mathematically correct outputs. Finance professionals must also determine whether conclusions make practical business sense and remain reliable under different operational and economic scenarios. Scenario-based validation strengthens forecasting credibility, improves strategic planning, and supports better management decision-making in uncertain business environments. Assessing reasonableness involves comparing analytical conclusions against historical trends, operational realities, market conditions, industry benchmarks, and strategic expectations. FP&A professionals evaluate whether projected revenues, expenses, cash flows, or profitability levels are achievable based on available resources, operational capacity, and market dynamics. For example, a forecast showing significant revenue growth without corresponding increases in staffing, production capacity, or capital investment may indicate unrealistic assumptions. Industry FP&A guidance emphasizes that reasonableness testing combines quantitative analysis with professional judgment to ensure conclusions remain financially and operationally credible. This process helps organizations avoid decisions based on flawed assumptions, incomplete data, or unrealistic expectations. Scenario testing is an essential method used to validate conclusions by evaluating how outcomes change under different business conditions and assumptions. FP&A professionals commonly develop base case, best case, and worst-case scenarios that reflect alternative economic environments, operational conditions, or market developments. Scenario analysis does not attempt to predict a single future outcome. Instead, it evaluates a range of plausible possibilities and their financial implications. For example, analysts may test how inflation, declining customer demand, supply chain disruptions, foreign exchange fluctuations, or rising interest rates affect profitability and liquidity. Effective scenario analysis helps organizations identify vulnerabilities, evaluate resilience, and improve preparedness for changing market conditions while strengthening confidence in financial conclusions. Modern FP&A organizations increasingly use advanced analytics, predictive modeling, automation platforms, and integrated planning systems to improve reasonableness assessment and scenario testing processes. Technology enables analysts to process large datasets, simulate multiple assumptions rapidly, and evaluate complex financial relationships across integrated financial models. Machine learning and predictive analytics further support scenario analysis by identifying hidden drivers, correlations, and emerging risks that may affect business outcomes. However, industry guidance emphasizes that technology cannot replace business judgment or critical thinking. FP&A professionals must still validate assumptions, assess data quality, interpret analytical outputs carefully, and determine whether conclusions align with operational realities, strategic priorities, and market conditions. Effective reasonableness testing strengthens forecasting reliability, improves risk management, supports capital allocation decisions, and enhances organizational resilience during periods of uncertainty. As businesses increasingly rely on dynamic forecasting, predictive analytics, and scenario planning to navigate complex environments, the ability to assess and validate conclusions across multiple scenarios has become an essential competency for FP&A professionals responsible for supporting sustainable growth and long-term financial performance.